All right, I'm now joined by the Providence Crier himself. He's back on the program, and a new guy. We got Justin Hasgard representing the University of Rhode Island. The reason I say that and the reason I brought these two together is because what I'm trying to do is shed a bit more light on one of the country's more underrated rivalries, and that is Providence College and the University of Rhode Island. So earlier in this episode, we discussed Big East predictions, and Coach of the Year Ed Cooley came up a couple times, but I wanted to bring in the Crier and also his number one rival Hasgard here to talk PCURI, and I'm going to dive right into it, fellas. The major question that I have, and I think a lot of people have, is who's been better the past 5 years?
I mean, obviously it's the Friars. They missed the tournament last year, so did the Rams. But before that, 5 straight seasons of the tournament. The Rams been twice. Great.
Subi, listen, every time I get into this conversation with the Crier, it is literally like I'm Holden Ford from Mindhunter. I am just talking to an insane person the entire time. I have no idea what he's talking about. When it comes to being a successful college basketball team, all that matters is March wins. Right now, in the past 5 years, URI's got 2, Providence has 1. End of story. Right there.
I mean, yeah, sure, you have one more victory. But I'd rather, every time you're at the dance, you have a chance to win the whole thing. So I'd rather be there 5 times than be there twice.
But you don't, because Ed Cooley is one of the worst playoff coaches in college basketball history. He is what, 1-5? Is that what he is? And you guys follow him anywhere he goes. He literally almost took that Michigan job this past offseason, and you guys are still clamoring for him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just saving his wins for this season. The season, the Crier prophecy, Final Four, it's happening this year. So it's like this whole little argument of your one win over one more tournament win. And let's not just you have your tournament win. PC has dominated the rivalry. We kick your ass every year.
Again, this is an argument I hear from PC fans all the time. They get up for this December game more than anyone else in the entire country, really, when it comes to a 1-versus-1 basketball game. This is all they have. They just want to claim Rhode Island, their little state, Rhode Island. Meanwhile, URI is aspiring for bigger things. We're trying to get on the national stage. You guys just want to dominate Rhode Island and be very happy and be like, oh, Ed Cooley wins against URI. That's it. That's all he does.
I mean, listen, it's kind of funny because your old coach there, Hurley, he brings us up we were kind of thing when we were winning games in the tournament. It's a joke, really. And now you got David Cox, and where's the program going? I don't know. You didn't make the tournament last year. You're projected 4th in the A10. Great. Can the A10 bring 4 teams to dance? I don't know. You probably have to win your tournament.
No, you bring up a great point. Where is the program going? So let's look at projections here, right? So we had a super young team last year, right? One of the youngest teams in the A10, right? Agree there?
Sure.
So all we can do is grow and get better from here on out. We're keeping the same core. We've added some excellent freshmen, and one of them is a 4-star Makai Long. He's going to come in, make an impact. But let's talk about the projection for Providence. In the past 4 years, what's that winning percentage done for Providence?
Yeah,
I'll answer it for you. It's gone down every single year to the point where Ed Cooley is no longer making the tournament, and you guys still follow him. Please give me an answer for why you follow him no matter what.
Because Eddie, he's the kind of guy you want representing your program. He's a big family man, us, we together, family, Friars. That's what it's all about, baby. And Eddie brings in the talent, and eventually he's going to work this whole thing out. I mean, 2 seasons ago, he brings in 2 top 50 recruits, and David Duke and AJ Reeves. Those guys got another year under their belt, and this season, the sky's the limit for the Friars this season, I'm telling you.
Crier, quick question for you. If Ed Cooley wasn't from Providence, would the city cape for him? Obviously not as much, but would they still cape for him?
Obviously, I think Ed Cooley does get his fair share of criticism. I mean, I personally, do I want more success in the tournament? for sure, right? But you got to remember, like, this guy has brought us to the tournament 5 straight seasons before last season. PC hadn't had that success in forever. So, you know, the reason why people go to bat for Ed Cooley is because where would we be without him? I don't know, to be honest with you. So, do Fire fans want more success in the tournament? For sure. I think this is a huge year for him. If it doesn't go good this year, all of a sudden the seat will get hot. But no, I mean, I think certainly if he wasn't from here, being from the area definitely helps. Let's call it a spade. But also you got to realize, like, Ed Cooley's character, he's a very vivacious guy, you know, players coach, everyone loves him, everyone who meets him loves him. So, I mean, sure, do people go to bat for Ed more than they would another coach? Sure. But, you know, end of the day, it does matter in March. I'll agree with that. You got to win in March. But we think he's got a team this year that can do that. So I'm not too concerned.
Suey, do you mind if I dive into that a little bit of what he just said? Because he just unpacked a lot there. Let me tell you a little bit about a losing team mindset, okay? And that's just loving your coach. He's a vivacious guy. He's big. He gets big recruits, very fancy off seasons, right? And then it comes to the regular season. He does all right, makes the playoffs, loses. You know what other fan base did that for 15 years? The Cincinnati Bengals with Marvin Lewis, okay? That's basically what we have here, a fan base that just drinks the Kool-Aid. They just drink the Kool-Aid until they get to the playoffs. They're just happy to be in the playoffs and lose and get crushed every time, whether it be UNC, USC, even Dayton, I believe, took you out one year. Anyone can take you guys out. If you see Providence in the first round and you're matched up against them, just pencil yourself in to the second round because they are that bad.
That's the problem. Well, we get screwed in seeding. You know, we got to play UNC in Raleigh, which I attended to. I broke my face, but I attended the game. Well, I didn't go to that game. I went to the first game, broke my face, and had to miss the UNC game. But, like, PC gets screwed by the selection committee year in and year out. We had to play Dayton in Columbus. Like, how is that fair?
No, I thought you played them in Dayton.
No, it was actually in Columbus.
Oh, okay. Well, I do agree
that's like an hour drive. That's insane. So, I mean, I think seeding has a lot to do with it. Granted, Uri did beat Trae Young, but that was a team that was trending up in the beginning of the season and then trending extremely down towards the end of the year. So it's all about matchups in March. So I think Uri had the advantage of getting better matchups. They got to play Creighton last year. Come on now. Like,
well, it was 2 years ago, but Creighton was still a contender, and they had Patton, who was like potentially freshman of the year candidate.
Hey, I know that, and he went off to the NBA and was a huge bust. But you know, it's all about matchups, and like PC always has to play UNC. Like what the fuck? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, you have 2 losses to UNC. All right, big deal. You also lost to Dayton. Whether it be in Ohio or not, you're supposed to be the big bag, Big East. You should be able to take care of an A-10 team in the tournament.
The whole point of the NCAA tournament is that it's neutral site games. This is a home game.
You know that doesn't happen every time.
Still, we were in a higher seed and had to play a road game. Like, how can you? Like, that's insane. You know, it won't even matter this year because we're going to be ranked. We're going to get a great seed, and we're gonna make the Final Four. Like I've been saying, this is the year. So, and like, I can't wait for this game. Oh, I'll tell you, December 6th. I have it circled on my calendar.
So,
go ahead.
I'm curious. I want to unpack this game, actually. So where is it, first of all?
It's in Rhode Island.
Ryan Center.
Yeah, URI. It's at the Ryan Center.
Okay. So I'm curious about 2 players. I'm curious about your boy, Langevin Hasgard. He's still there, right? Of
course.
And then your boy, Surratt, I'm curious about Mekhi Ashton Langford. I'm going to start.
Let's hear about Mekhi Ashton Langford, Surratt.
Oh, did he go to UMass?
You want to? No, he went to BC.
BC. My bad. Okay.
So let's talk about this talent that Cooley brings in all the time. Mekhi Ashton Langford stinks. Transfers to BC. Who's the new guy? David Duke comes in, stinks. Probably going to transfer after this year because he's going to stink again. Now they got Greg Gant who came in, and all I'm hearing about is how much he stinks. So I can't wait. He stinks. Can't stay on the court. So basically, all these guys that Cooley brings in that the fan base gets all riled up about, they all stink.
Heskard, you get all excited for your one top 100 recruit, Jermaine Samuels, who's going to get eaten alive by Nate Watson in this game.
First of all, Jermaine Samuels plays for Villanova. You should know that.
Jermaine Harris, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Jermaine Harris was a little thin coming in as a freshman, as like a 6'10 freshman. He was probably 200 pounds, so he got pushed around a little bit. But just like Langevin, he was smaller, and then he got better. Langevin is now the biggest beast in the A10 and will dominate any forward that PC has against him, whether it be Nate Watson or Fat Emmett Holt, whoever it is.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you, what happened last year in last year's game? Because your team is mostly the same guys, and this year our team's mostly the same guys. So, what happened last year?
Again, you guys had a ton more experience than us going into the game. Alpha Diallo and Nate Watson had a lot more experience than basically just Fats Russell.
We started 3 freshmen on that game.
Yeah, we had 2.
But what happened? Can you explain to me what happened?
It was in the dunk, and it was an inexperienced freshman team playing a road game in a very heated rivalry.
I want to ask you though, the shooting. You remember the shooting in that game?
Wasn't good. I don't believe it was good for either team. Neither team got above 60 points.
No, it wasn't good for either team. Providence was a terrible shooting team last year, and somehow the Rams outdid them. It was amazing. Fats Russell couldn't hit the bread of a barn, my man. Jesus. And you expect these guys to beat us this year when we added a guy like Luwan Pipkins, who's an all-conference player in your puny conference. Now he comes to PC.
You want to talk about Luwan Pipkins, Surratt? Luwan Pipkins got his ass beat for 3 years at UMass at the hands of URI, and you're thinking that I'm going to be worried about Luwan Pipkins?
You're going to be worried about him when he has talent around him.
I think he literally went 0 for 6 against URI, and he led that team every single year.
That's kind of like your record against us. What's your record against PC since we've gone to college? We went to college in 2008 as freshmen. What's the record?
I don't know. Was it 1-6, 1-7?
Yeah, you guys have won twice. 2 times since 2008.
Right, and one of them I believe you were at, right?
I was at both of the losses, yeah.
Oh, so how's that? I remember the one in the Ryan Center when you were there.
Yeah, well, so they were both at the Ryan Center. One year was Greedy Pearson inbounded the ball, but he had his foot over the line, got a technical, lost the game. Great.
And you were, what, 17 at half that game?
Yeah, we did have a lead in that game. The other game, yeah, it was bad, and that's why I cannot wait for this game, because 2 years ago, I'm at the Ryan Center, Subi, and, PC ends up losing, and I'm leaving the arena, and the whole arena, fuck PC, and I'm just like, this is classless trash people that I'm surrounded by right now. So you know what? I'm not a guy that takes things lightly. So when I go to the game again at the Ryan Center this year and we kill them, I'm going to let them have it. Who knows? I might take a dump in the concourse, like that Memphis fan at Tennessee last year.
Yeah, luckily your dump looked like rabbit poop and no one will even know.
So this is why I'm so fascinated with the rivalry, because as you can tell, past 5 years, it's either do you want the wins versus your rival, or do you want what matters, and what truly counts in. And it's not saying rivalry wins don't truly count, because let's say if a football team goes 0-11 or 1-10, if that one win is against their all-time rival, right? Coach feels good, fan base feels fine. Or do you want postseason victories? So looking forward to this year, I know the Crier prophecy is Final Four for Providence. Scard, does URI make the tournament this year? And is that an insulting question?
No, it's not insulting, because most of the national polls have 3 A10 teams at least getting votes for the top 25. So you got to assume that they're probably a bet to get into the tournament by themselves. So the A10 typically struggles to get more than 3 into the tournament, but you or I, all we have to do is we have a very strong schedule right now with Maryland, LSU, Alabama. We've got Providence and West Virginia. So I think all we have to do is go 3-2 in those games, and we'll have a very strong
3-2. I see maybe one win there.
I'm saying all we have to do is go 3-2, and we're going to have a very strong outlook for the tournament come A10 season.
Where's the West Virginia game?
At West Virginia.
Okay, yeah, I don't see a win. Well, where's the Alabama game?
Alabama's home.
Building. So
Alabama's home. Yep,
okay,
that's the
so
second
maybe
of our home.
Maybe you get one. Maybe you get one.
Providence is also at home. And I think we know how that happened last time.
Okay, how it happened last time, sure. But the Friars are just way more loaded than these Rams.
You want to talk about loaded? You don't have a bench. Like, who is your backup point guard?
Malik White.
Malik White. Okay, great. So he's going to come in, and you're going to be either very short on the guard side and like a little stocky on forward side, or you're just going to have super tall forwards going in with like one Wayne Pipkins holding the ball.
The Friars
I have no idea.
Emmett Holt, a guy that scored like 12 and 6.
Emmett Holt, dude. Emmett Holt, you're talking about a guy who gets 5 minutes a game and then passes it out. He's not going to be a factor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's back, baby.
Oh, my God, he's back. If you're going to talk to me about, like, Khalif Young, is he still on the team? Maybe he can put in some good minutes. Yeah, okay, so he's a good sub.
We actually have players. I don't know anyone on your bench. Who's on your bench?
Oh, we've got plenty of guys. Dana Tate, you know who Dana Tate is yet?
I've heard the name. But,
oh, yeah, you're going to know Dana Tate. Antoine Walker, once we finally get that transfer waiver from the NCAA, we got Antoine Walker coming over from Georgetown. You should probably know him.
What's his name?
Antoine Walker.
It's UAN.
Oh,
Twan.
God. I had no idea about that either. That might be all name team for the A10.
I mean, you want to talk about all name team. URI crushes Providence in the all name team. We got Fats Russell, Antoine Walker, and our freshman coming in next year. His name is Elijah Wood, a.k.a. Frodo. Meanwhile, Providence just has David Duke, the most racist name in America.
He goes by David Duke Jr., excuse me.
Even worse. That's even worse. Literally sounds like he's David Duke's son.
Great. So great. Like, that's great. You guys can have all the good names, like the funny sounding names. That's fantastic. We'll take the talent. Thank you.
Again, the talent that you think you have actually stinks, and then they stink and transfer. That's what they do. That's Providence basketball.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
So let's play a hypothetical here. Houseguard, you do go 3-2, and you end up, let's say you're a bubble team, maybe a little bit better than a bubble team. Who gets a higher seed in this tournament?
Us versus Providence?
You versus Providence.
We do. Typically A10, especially when we beat higher ranked teams, they are a little more favorable for us. And since Providence is probably going to be the 7th or 8th team in the Big East, if they're able to get that many teams in, which they probably won't, Big East will probably be a 5 or 6 team bid team for that league. And typically the lower 5 or 6 in the conference, you're looking at probably an 8 or 9 seed, maybe even the 10 seed. Where A10, if we slip in and we're like the 2nd or 3rd best A10 team, we might get a 7 or an 8.
Well, so here's where you're wrong there. I mean, I think there's a chance that the committee could screw us like they always do. So who knows? Maybe you do get the higher seed. But the Big East right now has every single team in KenPom top 100. Something that the A10 cannot say. I think the Big East could push 8 teams for sure this year. A lot of talent in the Big East. You know, I am worried about beating up on each other, but I think PC will finish top 4. And then, you know, Cooley, he may not win in the NCAA tournament, but Cooley has done well at Madison Square in the Big East tournament. So you couple that with the fact that PC's non-conference schedule, it's interesting. It's very cupcake early, and then late in the year it gets tough. You know, Subi will be in that tournament over Thanksgiving. the wooden legacy there. And then after that, PC has a home game against Texas. They'll play Florida at Barclays. So that'll be a good test to get them ready for conference play. I just think PC has way more resume building opportunities than Rhode Island would get, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's no argument there because you're in the Big East. You'll have more opportunities to get bigger wins because that's just how it goes with Big East versus A-10. A-10 doesn't get any of the respect it deserves, even though we typically, once the playoffs start, perform pretty well.
I mean, I just think this year PC is going to be flirting around the top 25 pretty much the whole year. I wouldn't be surprised if they start off 6-0 before they go to that tournament in Anaheim there. I think the Northwestern game terrifies me. Game 3 at Northwestern. Northwestern's supposed to be trash. And
in our Big Ten preview, we had them probably ranked as the worst team.
Oh yeah, I read about them. They're supposed to be hot garbage. But early in the year, you never know. All these teams have hope. So that game does scare me. But I do see them starting 6-0, and the fact that they're already getting votes in the top 25. You start 6-0, they'll probably be around 25 when they play in that tournament. They'll probably face Arizona in the championship game. We all know how that turned out last time.
That's true. Hey, man, don't drag me into this.
Hey, I'm
trying to stay as neutral as possible, but if you start talking spicy like that, I'll have to jump in on Houseguard's side. So here's a question that I always like asking bitter rivals, and it's very plausible for a Duke Carolina national title game. But let's say you're proposed with a URI versus Providence title game. Do you want that? So the reason I'm asking that is because some people would say, if I'm on the losing end of that, then I cannot talk shit ever again. Would you want a Providence, Rhode Island title game?
Yeah, absolutely, because we dominate the rivalry. So we're going to win, and we'll be champions. And then finally, this guy Houseguard over here can just finally shut the hell up. It'll be great.
Yeah, Subi. This is just unmatched confidence for Providence. I really hope that we do this again in the middle of the season. That way, the Crier will be a little more humbled, probably with some bad losses on his schedule. So no one is more hyped for the season opener than Providence Criers because they think that, the talent they brought in, they see a 4-star recruit and that he's going to be All-American immediately because Ed Cooley's coaching, even though Ed Cooley is, again, one of the worst postseason coaches in history. I can't emphasize that enough.
Has Cox played the postseason game?
Has who?
Cox.
Yes. Well, he was on the staff with Hurley, so I'd say yes.
Staff. Great. I mean, hey, if you want to talk about that, Cooley was on the staff at BC, and they won tournament games. They weren't great, but they won tournament games.
You're literally asking if a coach of 1 year has been in the tournament game.
Well,
Again, this is where I feel like Mindhunter with Holden. Like I'm talking to an insane person. He's talking about 1 year of experience versus Cooley's what's this, his 7th year at Providence? 8th year?
It's just nice.
9th year?
I'm fine.
9th year, 1 win in March. And he's talking about Cox not having a win after 1 season.
I mean, he inherited an absolute dumpster fire. So gotta give the guy some props.
Who did? Cooley or Cox?
Oh yeah. Oh, I worked for the team. It was a nightmare.
Oh, this is post Keno Davis, right?
Oh yeah, the Keno Davis era was a nightmare. Players were beating up innocent students for no reason. It was terrible. Keno Davis was so out of touch with everything. And at the time, the Big East was this juggernaut, and it was the least attractive job. I'm surprised Cooley even took it, to be honest with you.
Providence.
But here we are.
Through and through. Yeah, he's a Providence man. So here's what I'll do. I will get you guys out on this. Since we're talking coaches, we can bond over a single hatred of Danny Hurley. Is that fair to say?
I don't hate him. I think he's an idiot for leaving, but I think he was building up something great at URI, and URI was probably on the trajectory to being a top 25 team every season if he stayed. I'm not saying top 10 team, but he was going to flirt with the top 25 probably as long as he was at URI. And jumping to UConn, I mean, what a mess UConn is. Like, literally just bundles and bundles of violations year after year. There's no doubt within the next 2 or 3 years there's going to be a UConn scandal. Can we agree on that?
Hey, possibly, but I'll say this. Didn't we have a bet during the season? I told you, like mid-season, that Danny Hurley would leave URI and take the UConn job, and you thought I was taking crazy pills. And what happened? He did exactly that, exactly what the Crier said. I am prophetic. I can see the future. Final Four is coming our way, baby.
Yeah, so that's some revisionist history there, because I was telling everyone and anybody that Hurley was only staying on until EC Matthews graduated. And then once EC left, he was probably gone. So I don't know where you just came up with that in your head, but
we made a bet. You had to pay me. You want me to pull up Venmo?
Yes, I would like you to pull up Venmo for that, because there's just no way that happened.
Yeah, you paid me like $100.
Again, we're just making up bets
now. It'll take forever to look it up. I'm not going to waste Tubi's time here. But I mean, afterwards we can go to the tape, and the tape will show you you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I told you 1,000 times that Makai Ashton Langford stunk, and you kept saying that he just needed to develop, and then now he's at BC with his brother, probably stinking it up over there.
Yeah, I mean, I was rooting for Makai. He's from Worcester. I grew up in Central Massachusetts. I was rooting for Makai to succeed. He was terrible. What can I say? But back to Hurley. He's such a bitch, dude. I can't stand Hurley.
Yeah. Wait. So what was that? I was listening to your podcast, Surratt, Providence Crier podcast. Listen to that on Anchor. I was listening to that segment about Cooley and Hurley, like kind of getting into it.
Yeah, because at Big East Media Day, Cooley kind of made fun of told UConn that he was asked about UConn joined the Big East, and he said that the Big East gave them new life. It gave their fan base new life and all this, and which is true. I mean, right? Does UConn want to just stick around in the American for their stupid meddling football team? I don't think so. I think we all agree on that. And yet Danny Hurley, he just has this Napoleon complex about him. And of course he has to take offense to this. And so he started chirping about, he took shots at, he kind of took a sole shot by saying, bringing up a recruit that Cooley was pretty hard after, that he ended up getting over him. And then he brought up how the URI was a thing in Rhode Island. Whatever. Yeah, I can't stand the guy. They almost came to blows on the sideline once, and bring it back, baby. Cannot wait for next year to play UConn twice. I guarantee Cooley and Hurley will get into it again. Mark my words.
Yeah, Dan Hurley, literally the worst part about being a fan of URI was his antics on the sidelines. He is just such a schoolgirl on the sidelines, just pouting and whining every time he doesn't get a call. Just be a professional. Don't go out there and do hand motions and gestures and stuff that make you look like a little bitch. Please just be a professional and act like a grown man out there. You'll get more respect from the players. I don't know how he recruits, to be honest, because anyone who watches tape of Hurley on the sidelines thinks he's a madman, and not like an evil genius, because his in-game coaching is normally not very good. He's more of a recruiter, but man, I have no idea how he gets players, because he just whines and whines and whines. And then even when he gets into this argument with Ed Cooley, where you're thinking, okay, maybe he's got some balls on him, then he goes over immediately and starts apologizing and trying to shake Ed's hand. No, if you're going to get in an argument, be a man and just own it.
Yeah, at the end of that, he's like, well, I'm not mad. We're good buddies. It's like, are you? I don't think you are.
See, I knew there was a common ground somewhere.
Yeah, I guess there is.
Before I put you guys back into your corners until the middle of the season, where we will surely do this again, any parting words?
No, I'm just super excited for basketball to begin. So you know what? It's an exciting time. I'll let URI have their fun for now. But December 6th, again, circled on my calendar. I'm going to be there, and we're going to get some revenge, and it's going to be sweet.
This is what makes it a little different from every other rivalry in the country, is because when we're not playing each other, I'm actually rooting for PC up to the point where we play them, because I want them to be at their peak so we can tear them down when they need to be. And
Well,
I'm
you
sure
want
it's the
that
same.
because it's that RPI rating.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, there you go.
But I believe it's the same for you, though. You want URI to succeed until we play you. That way it's a bigger game. And obviously when it's a bigger game, everyone enjoys it more. It's more trash talk, more money gets thrown down. And, the past few years, PC's been winning. But again, you can't really argue the facts that URI has been more successful in the past 5 years than PC come the playoffs.
That's going to be his trump card until this year. Finally, that will end, and Cooley's going to start rattling off those tournament victories, baby. And then he'll have nothing to say.
Providence
We
fans.
won't even have to have him on the podcast because he will literally have nothing to say.
Providence fans literally sound like pre-2004 Red Sox fans. They're like, oh, just wait till this year. Just wait till next year. They're going to be champions. Yeah, finally. But you don't have a curse that you're getting over. You just have a bad coach and bad players. That's all you have.
Okay. All right.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you hopping on and shedding some light on this big-time rivalry from the smallest state in the entire country. We will catch you next time. Middle of the season. Let's do this again, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
fellas. Thanks,